Hi, welcome to episode 2 of the Quirky Monday Craftcast. I'm Kalisha, also known as Nadir Tani on Instagram, Ravelry, pretty much anywhere else you want to find me. Um, you can find the show notes for today's video on quirkymonday.blogspot.com. And yeah, if you are a new viewer, which most likely you are because this is only episode 2, thank you so much for taking a moment to check me out. If you're returning, meaning you watched 1 and 2, you are awesome. Oh man, you're awesome. And thanks for coming back. I'm going to try to speak up this time because I did notice that the audio was really, really low in my first video. So we're working out the kinks, guys. We're working out the kinks. But today, I've got some fun things to talk about. I have some non-yarn related things, which is pretty cool because, you know, I do want this to be a all-encompassing crafty space, seeing that I do a whole lot of different things. But, yeah. So, on to my finished objects. I have some sewing today and some paper crafting. So first I want to show you my sewing that I have. I've recently finished 2 project bags. One is a small size, which I'm using, well, this is the size that I use for like socks, baby size things, you know, little projects. But this one just looks like that. It's got volleyballs on it. I don't remember if I mentioned last time, but my husband is a, what is he? He's frowning at me right now. I know it. Assistant varsity volleyball coach for his high school. So, of course, I had to make a bag with volleyballs on it so that when I do go to his games and I am knitting or crocheting, which I'm pretty much always doing at the games, I can show my pride. And they're in his school colors because I'm cheesy like that. But go, guys! Woo! Yeah, I did some top stitching. Can you see that? Top stitching. Sorry, I hit the camera. But this is my first, not my first time top stitching because I did some in school, but this is by far the best top stitching that I have done up to this point. Normally I'm like a drunk driver on the top stitching front, just it's not pretty, but this one very, very nice. Yeah, so it's 9 inches across this way, and I believe 9 or 10 inches this way, and then 3 inches deep that way. So pretty good size. My other 2 bags this size, I have my baby flax sweater in one and and a pair of socks in the other, and there's plenty of room in there, so I really enjoy this size. Also, I'm thinking about selling these. I'm gonna sell these. Gonna sell them. But yeah, so that's the first one. The second is the same style of bag. Oh, sorry about that. It's the same style of bag, but it's larger. And I am just in love with this fabric. I just need to go buy the whole bolt just so that I can have it. Yep, I need to do that. That needs to happen. But here it is. Ah, Kente. So this is my large bag. It is, I believe it's 12 across. I should know these, right? Because I made it. 12 across, 11 tall, and then like 4-ish wide, like down here. That's 4 to 5 inches wide. But this one, like I said, is the kente cloth fabric on the body, and then just black fabric for the bottom. I've got a strap for holding it. Nice green zipper. Also did some top stitching on there. And yeah, it's yellow on the inside because evidently I can't sew a bag without having some sort of yellow in it. I think that might be a thing. Anywho, so here are my two finished bags. Very, very proud of them. And this bag is housing a shawl project that it's literally just all of the yarn colors caked up. So I don't think I'm going to show that this week because there's hardly anything to show. But look forward to that one. So those are my two sewing finished objects. My next finished object is my paper crafting one, which is my Bible journal. Journaling Bible journal, whatever. But this is my Bible journal. Recently I got into Bible journaling as a way of studying and meditating on the different scriptures that I'm reading. One of my goals for my 30 by 30 list was to read the entire Bible. Didn't make it before I turned 30, so I was like, okay, I'll just finish that before I turn 31. So it's my finished 30 and 30 list. Still not gonna make it, but I decided that instead of trying to rush through just to finish the Bible and make that goal, that I was just going to, take my time as I'm reading through, as I'm listening. I listen to the English Standard Version as well as the Message Bible. This is the app that I use right there. And it's got a bunch of different versions of the Bible if you want to listen to it. So I listen to it in there. I highlight scriptures that I like or that really speak to me. And then I'll come over here, and this is also an English Standard Version, and I will do some journaling on them. So I want to show you a couple of my favorite ones. Let's see, what is a favorite one? Oh, this one. It's this side over here. This is one of my favorite scriptures, and it says, "The floods have lifted up, O Lord, the floods have lifted up their voice, mightier than the thunders of many waters, mightier than the waves of the sea. The Lord on high is mighty." And this scripture I came across when I was in college and going through like a really hard emotional time. Maybe I'll talk about that later. I don't know. But I always equated, like whenever I started feeling really down or, out of control with my emotions, I equated that to the feeling of, tides rising. So just reading the scripture saying that the Lord is mightier than the waves of the sea was like speaking directly to me. Like, God is mightier than the struggles that you face. He's mightier than anything that you struggle with, for lack of a better way of saying it. But yeah, so that's one of my favorite scriptures. And then the one next to it is, "For he will command his angels concerning you to guard you in all your ways. On their hands they will bear you up, lest you strike your foot on a stone." And, about to mess things up. This one, I just did some angel wings, and then with the feathers coming down. In both of them, I did paint. That's the word I was looking for. Isn't that a shame? You can't remember something as simple as paint. This one I used watercolors some watercolor pencils, and gelatos to get ooh, to get these effects. And then this one I used acrylic paint and some white paint markers, and then some stickers for the mightiers and mighties. This is a journaling card from a like religious theme project life kit. And then I just have my journaling on the back of there for that one. This one has the journaling in here, and it just says, "In the name of God, the most gracious and merciful." And then I have my journaling in here. And this is a story about an accident my brother was in, but God be praised, he's all right. Yeah, so, I have other scriptures in here that are highlighted that I think I'm going to go back and journal about. I just recently wrote a blog post about it, so if you want to see some other entries close up and I don't know, read about how I got into it, some of my process and things, you can check out that blog. I'll put the post link in the description bar down below. Yeah, so on to works in progress. Enter the yarn. If you can hear my dogs, they're inside yelling. Why? I don't know. There's nothing happening out here but me talking. So the first project that I want to talk about are my Suka socks. I talked about these and kind of showed them at their very beginning last video, and they were just one little singular cuff. But now I have 2 half a socks. Ta-da! That's the bottom. And that's the top of the foot. And as you can see, they're going to be shorty socks. So, basically, what do you call them? No-show socks. So, you have that really cool texture that's happening there. And I'm doing them 2 at a time, cuffed down. I am enjoying the 2 at a time process this time a lot more than I did a lot more than the first time I did 2 at a time socks. But y'all, these socks are taking forever. Like, it's just taking so long. And I know it's because there's so much purling. And I do the purl stitch a lot slower than I do the knit stitch. But, oh my gosh. I just want these to be done. I'm seriously considering taking them off the needles and just letting them hibernate for a little while, just so that I can do something else, cleanse my palette from these, and then come back and finish them. But then I'm like, if I take these off the needles, they may not make it back on. I mean, I want the socks, but it's just such a slog. Like, oh my gosh. But yeah, Suka. I feel like I'm going to be an expert purler when I finish these, though. So, and they are in another one of my DIY handmade project bags, which I'm pretty sure I showed this before because I was totally geeked about this fabric. But this is the small size, like the other one that I made. Yeah, so they're living in there. This next work in progress, another handmade bag. This one, I made this bag following Nicole from Hue Loco's holiday project bag pattern. Like, I followed it exactly. All the rest of the bags I have modified from, like, using her pattern as a base. Like, this is how you make a bag. And then I modified changing the sizing, changing the amounts of fabrics, different things like that. But this bag is pretty fun for me. But this project, I'm so stinking proud of it. This is my baby, what is it, my baby flax baby sweater. Yeah, I'm calling it my flax sport because I am knitting the flax sweater with sport weight yarn. And I had to do some math. I figured out which size to make based on my gauge to get like 3 to 6 month size. And then when I finished, I've finished the body on here in one sleeve. So then I took it to Target and held it up next to an actual, like not an actual sweater, but like, you know, a store-bought sweater to see if I was like on with the sizing, and I was. It's pretty awesome. So may I present to you, oh my gosh, I am so stinking proud of myself, I can't handle it. Yes, so there's my flax, what am I calling this? Flax sport. I can't even remember. I'm so excited. So I finished the sleeve today, and then I just have one more sleeve. I have the second sleeve to do, but y'all, I don't think I could be more proud of this sweater. Like, this is my first garment in ever. Let's just marinate on it for a little bit. I love it so much. So, yeah, I knit. This is wait. Let me show you the yarn. Get it together, Kalisha. This is, I love this yarn, sport weight. I got it on clearance at Hobby Lobby. It's acrylic, so if baby throws up on it or whatever, you chuck it in the wash. You do not have to hand wash it. All is well with the world. It's for my best friend's baby who's due in December. So I'm hoping, and they live up north, so I'm hoping that baby will be able to get, you know, a bit of wear out of it. I even thought to be like, you know, maybe we can have like the traveling sweater, like your baby wears it now. Whenever time comes for me to have a baby, you can ship it to me and my baby can wear it, and it'll just be the cutest thing. But that might be a little bit crazy. I think I'm just super excited about the sweater. It's true, I am super excited about the sweater. But I knit it using my bamboo needles, which I shall show you. 5.5, not 5.5, I'm lying, 5.0 and 4.0 needles. 4.0 for the cuffs and the neckband, 5.0 for the body stitches. But I'm very, very proud of myself. Like, and I love the yarn. I was just about to say, I love this yarn. But no, I do love the yarn. It's so neutral. It's just, and I like the little flex. Pretty cool. So that's my flax sport. Yeah, I'm trying to remember what I did to get the measurements I did, and can't really remember. I'm gonna write a blog post about it eventually, so there's that. There's a lot of math involved. I'm pretty sure I did it late at night when you should not be doing math, especially when you don't like math, but it's the right size, which is what matters. And I kept notes to what I did, so if I need to do this again, I can. And that's the important part. So that's flax sport, living in there. Oh, if for some reason you don't know, the flax sweater pattern is by Tin Can Knits, and the Tanarasuka socks are by um, Taina Antilla. Both patterns are on Ravelry. Works in progress done. Next, I want to talk about some projects that I have coming up. I am going to participate in the Transitions Make-Along that's hosted by Mars of the BrownBerry Chronicles and Chanel of the PiperNell Podcast. It is basically, you can make anything that has leaves in the pattern, or you can use a gradiated yarn. So I am going to be making, I found a crochet pattern called Take It or Leaf It by Sherry McEwen. I'm going to be making that out of this yarn. And this is the Karen Cakes. Michael's recently came out with these, so I was just like, oh, I'll try it. And it is super soft. I was not expecting it to be this soft. But it's 100% acrylic, I think. I'm lying. It's 80% acrylic, 20% wool. So there's that. And I like the colors. I like the yellow and the grays especially. This brown, like not brown, what is that? Like tan Aran color, I think. This is the only color in it that's kind of throwing me off. But the rest of it, I really like it. So I'm going to be making the Take It or Leaf It shawl with this. And I plan to start that kind of soon, maybe. I don't know. I've got a lot of projects currently on the hooks and needles. So yeah, as soon as I get somebody off, I'm going to be putting somebody else right back on. The next project is, or the next pattern is the Embossed Leaves hat by Heather Tucker. Now both of these patterns are also on Ravelry, free patterns. So if you want to check them out, you definitely should. But the Embossed Leaves hat, I'm going to be making out of this yarn. Now this used to be white, some sort of acrylic in my stash. I'm pretty sure this is from one of those like 1 pound. It was a love bug again, y'all. I'm scared they're gonna get in my hair and then never come out. Don't go in my hair. Anyway, I'm pretty sure that the white yarn that this used to be is from one of those 1 pound bags from like Joann's, you know, like the random, I think they call them mill ends. But they don't tell you what the fiber content is or anything. But I knew it was acrylic, so I had some left over from another project that I did. But you may know that dyeing acrylic yarn is really hard to do. Evidently, you can dye acrylic yarn with acrylic paint, but it comes out real crunchy and disgusting. And then when you wash it, it fades horrendously. I've also tried dyeing acrylic yarn with the RIT clothing dye. That does not work at all. So, you know, I had just given up, like, oh, I guess I just can't dye acrylic yarn. Oh well. But recently at Hobby Lobby, they started carrying this, which is RIT Dye More Synthetic, which is specifically formulated for synthetic fibers. So polyester cotton blends, polyester, nylon, acrylic, and acetate. You can dye it with this. So I was looking at that and I was like, okay, that sounds pretty cool. That will definitely open up a lot more um, economical ways of playing around with dye. So, any other time you have to buy like protein based fibers or cotton, you know, which can be more expensive. But this will allow you to just go and get like white Super Saver if you want to, and dye it. So I was like, all right, that's pretty cool. So I grabbed some. It cost $4.99 from Hobby Lobby, and I used the 40% off coupon. But yeah, so I grabbed that, and this yarn I had wound into a cake, and I just put the cake in the pot. It was a monster hand. I put the cake in the pot and dumped the dye into the middle of the cake because I wanted it to kind of be like, a long gradient where you have the more concentrated colors in the middle, and then it dyes like less and less as it gets further out. Didn't quite work the way I wanted it to. Um, I ended up having to re-dye this today, and I have two other skeins that I want to show you, but yeah, so I'm really happy with the way that the re-dye came out. This one, it's actually showing up a bit more blue on the screen, but it goes from right there is a deeper green, like the green is called peacock green, which I think is a pretty good description of what it is. But then the peacock green broke into more of a yellow green and a more bluey green, and then you have some of these almost white, almost untouched pieces that show a little bit more blue. So I've got a whole lot of variation in that skein, which makes me very, very happy. And I hope that this is enough to make the embossed leaves hat. If not, I don't really know. I'll probably just do like the edging in a different, like a contrast color or something, but this makes me very happy on the inside. Like, I love it so much. So there's that. And then, I'll put this over here. And then I have these two skeins, which came out beautifully. And they both have a little bit of tonality in them. I don't know. You might be able to see a little bit of it right there. Like, this reads a bit more blue-green, like blue tealy on here, and then this one has a little bit of grassy green right there. So you've got that all throughout the skein, and both of them are like that. Oh, so you can see that grassy green right there a bit. Like blue teal over here, and then more yellow teal over here. But both of these skeins are the loop and thread wool-like yarn. Yeah, so the same yarn that I'm using for my Tanara Suka socks, this was that kind of yarn. It started out its life as a beige, kind of beigey gray color, beigey gray, and then I dyed it with this. I tried to do a gradient again at first, but because I just did the whole process wrong, I ended up with some grassy green bits, and then all of what I intended to be like the gradient sections where I wanted the dye to go from concentrated and then kind of just drip down like just kind of drip down. All of that dye either washed out or it broke into blue and green. So it just looked like a failed dye attempt. So today I took these, I still had them wound, or still had them in the hank, so I dropped them into the pot with that other skein, dumped dye all over it, and just let it cook. And so, yep. those are my dye experiments. I don't know what these are going to be yet, but I'm happy to have them, to add them to my sock yarn stash. And that's for my embossed leaves. That hat I'm also going to enter into the Hey Sister Hat Cow, which is hosted by the Hey Sister Podcast. And that's also going to go in the transitions make along, that my Take It or Leave It shawl is going to go into. Whew. That was on my upcoming to make list. I should call that section my artsy to-do list, because I have one of those, an artsy to-do list, where I keep a list of artsy things that I want to do. Yeah. So next I want to talk about some things that are new in. This is a non-yarny section this time. My first new in, I'm actually really happy about them. They're sitting out here on the porch with me, are these. I bought two collard green plants, and this baby, that's bee balm, to add to my garden. The bee balm is supposed to attract bees, which can't say it's been doing its job yet, but it's been out here for less than a week, so get on it, bee balm. We need the honeybees. But yeah, I have a container garden on the front porch, where currently I have a basil plant, a lavender plant, my collard greens and bee balm. I have a couple green bean seeds planted. They haven't sprouted yet. And I kind of have a mint plant. Kind of. My friend Tiffany gave me a cutting from her plant, and I don't think I planted it fast enough, because I think I killed it, and I'm really sad about that. I'm so sorry, Tiffany. I'm a bad garden mommy. I planted it anyway. Do you want to see it? It's kind of sad. I'm going to show it to you. I'm a little embarrassed to show this now. This is terrible. Oh. Yeah, well look, there's a little green bit right there. So it's not all the way dead. And there's a little green bit right there. And there's a little green bit right there. Yeah. I didn't kill it all the way. I'm sorry, Tiffany. I hope you still love me. I'm just going to put that over there. Oh my. Yeah. New in is fabric. Like I mentioned earlier, I'm going to start selling my my project bags, or my carry-all bags, or bags for whatever you want to do with them. And I recently picked up a few fat quarters from Joann's, because they were having a sale for Labor Day, yesterday. I never said what today's date was. Today is Tuesday, September 7th? 6th? Tuesday, September 6th, 2016. So yesterday was Labor Day, and Joann's had all of their fat quarter fabric cuts on sale for 70% off. So they came down to 74 cents each. So I got these. Then I was blessed by my friend Erica, who gave me, it's a huge bag, fabric that she found in her garage. She gave me this huge bag, and it's all kinds of fabric. I've got some solids, some pattern, solid black. This is the black that's in the bottom of my kente bag. And then there's even bigger cuts of fabric in here, like this pattern, which, yeah, I could make bags out of it, but I think I'm gonna make like a dress, because there's a whole lot of yardage of that one, and I think it would make a really nice dress to wear to church. So there's that. So there's a whole lot of fabric in there, and I'm just yeah, so on to 2 and 2. So two highlights from the last 2 weeks, because it's been 2 weeks since I last filmed. I went to my first knit night at Sip and Knit in, where are they located? Castleberry? Maitland? Somewhere over there. But it's a really cute yarn shop, and every Tuesday night they have a knit night, where you can go and chat with people, work on your projects and everything. I went last Tuesday. It was my first time going to anything like that. I felt super awkward. Like, I don't know. But it was my first time going to a knit night. I felt super awkward because I don't really like situations where I don't know anybody. Like, it makes me feel really anxious and self-conscious and just, like, I drove to the place, and while I was driving down the street, I was feeling my chest get tight just at the thought of being in a room with strangers. And I called my mom, and she was like, "Girl, calm down. They're all gonna be nice. They're knitters." Okay, Mom. So I get to the yarn shop, and I literally sat in my car for like 5 to 10 minutes just staring at the door. Like, should I get out? I could just drive away now and nobody would know. But I kicked myself out of my comfort zone, and I went in, and like, yeah, I was so nervous. I was so scared. I don't know what I thought they were gonna do. Like, I don't know. It made me feel like, you know how when you're in high school, and, or not even just high school, when you're the new kid anywhere and it's lunchtime and you don't have like a crew of friends to sit with in the cafeteria, and you just like have your tray and you walk out of the line and you just look and you see all the tables with all of the groups of friends, and you have to find somewhere to sit, but you don't know anybody. That's how it felt. And there was no option to be like, I'm just gonna sit over here in the corner, which is what I probably would have done, you know. There was an instructor there who got up and gave me her seat at the table, and of course her seat was in the middle of everybody. So nervous little Kalisha had to sit in the middle of this giant group. It wasn't a giant group, y'all. Let me stop exaggerating. It was like maybe 10 people, but I didn't know any of them, and I had to sit in the middle of the group, and I was just there with my little project bag like this. I'm just gonna knit on. Yeah, that was me. Until the first lady, she spoke to me and asked me my name, and they asked me how I found out about the knit night. And um, and it ended up being a really good experience. Everybody there was super nice. I'm a little bit bummed out now because since today is Tuesday, they're having another knit night, and I'm gonna miss it because I do not have a car right now. So I'm hoping to be able to go next week because I don't want it to be like, oh, I showed up one week and never came back. But yeah, I'm so glad that I went. I'm so glad that I pushed myself out of my comfort zone. It was very, very good for me. And I didn't cry. Like that was the highlight. I told my husband when I got home. I was like, I went to a knit night and everybody was a stranger and I did not cry. Call it a good day. But yeah, so that's my first highlight. My second highlight is I'm a winner. I participated in Chanel of the PiperNell Podcast Kip Along, which was her knitting in public along, well, crafting in public along photo contest. Yeah, I think that's how you would describe it. But it ran for 2 months, I believe. And you just basically were to post pictures either on Ravelry in her group or on Instagram of yourself knitting, crocheting, crafting, spinning, doing any of these things in public. And, I always have a project with me, so I was like, this is for me. So I did all the things. In the span of the 2 months of how long the Kip Along ran, I was able to, I documented and submitted, I think, 14 different projects that I was working on. And of those 14, 11 of them were finished objects by the time that the Kip Along ended. So that just made me feel like a knitting and crocheting superstar. Like I felt pretty cool. Like I did all the things. But I took her up on her challenge. She said she really wanted somebody to spin in public. So I took it upon myself to be that person, and I took my handmade drop spindle, and one night when I was waiting for my husband to get back from a volleyball game, I was spinning in the parking lot. It was nerve-wracking. I was kind of scared. I got plenty of strange looks, but I did it. So that was really cool. But yeah, so I won one of the prizes. I won her Wool Gems hand spun yarn, which I don't know what I'm gonna make with it, because I almost feel like she spun all this yarn with her own hands. I should, like, I don't know, put it on a trophy case or something, like dun, dun, dun. I don't know. We'll see what I make with it. But there's also, I think she had a stationery notebook, which I'm pretty sure I want to make into like a knitting journal. I think that will be a good use for it. But yeah, that's super exciting for me because I never win anything. Like, I had I think the day before Chanel before she drew the winners, Mars from the BrownBerry Chronicles podcast had commented, oh, I think Kalisha has this in the bag. And I was like, ha, please, I never win anything. And lo and behold, I'm a winner. Still makes me feel all nice and warm on the inside. Look at this. That's a love bug, just in case you don't know. Except for that's a single love bug. Normally, love bugs fly around, 2 of them. attached. Just, yeah, that's Florida. Um, but yeah, those are my two highlights from the past 2 weeks. Um, yeah, lots of exciting things. So, two things about myself. First thing, I'm a photographer. I work in a portrait studio, and it's a whole lot of fun. Um, I spend most of my days crawling around on my knees after little kids, making weird noises to get them to smile. I feel like I've become an expert in the art of distraction. You know, like, oh, the kid doesn't want to come and sit down. And you just pull all these tricks out of your sleeve to get the kid to come and interact with you in order to snap a picture of them. So it's a lot of fun. Um, I've also done some photography outside of the studio for myself. Um, I spoke briefly about this last time when I mentioned my mom getting to see my downtown photos, my downtown photo, historical downtown photo stories that were hanging in my local library when she came to visit. That series, I would go to different downtown areas around Central Florida and just take pictures, um, you know, whatever moved me. I was taking pictures of these things, and then um, I I was able to show them at the library, which was really cool. I can leave some links in the show notes to where you can see some of those photos if you like. Um, I've also been playing around with the idea of doing a yarn themed um, photo story where I I don't know. I haven't fleshed out the idea at all, but I think I want to do something yarn themed because that would be very appropriate for me. So yeah, I'm a photographer. I love it. It's a lot of fun. The second thing I want to tell you about myself is I am a stargazer. Um, I love the stars so much, mostly because they're always there, you know, and I really hate it when I say something about the stars and there's always that one person who's like, the stars are dead. It's just that they're so far away that the light has still come to us, but they're not there anymore. They're really all dead. Thanks so much for your information. Anyway, I love the stars. They're always there for me. Um, a lot of times, like when I was younger, um, I would be, like whenever I got down or depressed or anything, I could go outside and look up and you see those same stars. You get used to seeing, oh, this is where Boots the Herdsman is. That's Arcturus. That's Cassiopeia. There's the Big Dipper. Like all of these stars and constellations that are always surrounding you. It makes you feel small, but it also makes me feel so much comfort knowing that they're always there. So, this is a book that I bought myself for my birthday. Backyard Guide to the Night Sky. Backyard Guide to the Night Sky. Words. But this book is really, really awesome. It breaks down, it gives you a history of like all of the constellations. It names all the main stars. Like Boots the Herdsman is one of my favorite constellations. Arcturus, which is that one, which is the primary star in the constellation, that's my favorite star of all the stars. That's my favorite star. But yeah, this book is really, really awesome. It gives you a whole lot of information about the sky. Um, I got it from Barnes and Noble. It was one of their bargain books, so I think it only cost like $7 and change. Um, but really, really, really um, a good reference for stargazing. Another thing that I love doing is I love that I look at the sky so much, I notice when something is different. Saying that out loud makes me feel so nerdy. But I have an app on my phone called, I think it's like Google Sky or Sky Map or something like that, where based on your GPS location, you can hold it up and it shows you what constellations you're looking at or whatever like that. So there's a particular night I went outside and I'm looking at the sky and I was like, okay, I know these constellations. And I was like, what is that star? That's a really bright star. That star's not normally there. What is that? Pulled out my handy dandy cell phone. Boop. That's not a star at all. That's Jupiter. Yeah, FYI, you can see Jupiter sometimes with your naked eye. So that's pretty cool. I've been able to see Jupiter, Mars, Venus, and I want to say it was Saturn that you can see with your naked eye at different times of the year. Or, yeah, I think it was Saturn. But just that thought, like you here walking around on Earth in Florida can look up at the sky and see Jupiter. That's just amazing. So yeah, I want a telescope. I would love to have a telescope. I want to be able to see the planets. Like, I think that would be amazing. So yeah, I'm a stargazer. I'm a bit of a star nerd. I love meteor showers. I forget, there was a website, I don't know if it's still active, called spaceweather.com, and you could go there and it would tell you what upcoming like events were going to be happening in the sky, and you can see when the next meteor shower is going to happen. I've been fortunate enough to see 2 different meteor showers. I saw the Leonid meteor shower as well as the Geminid meteor shower. I've seen those. But I definitely want to see more. Like, I'm that friend who's like, oh guys, there's gonna be a meteor shower. We should all go out to the country and watch it. And then all the friends are like, I don't know. But hopefully I can get all of my friends together for something like that, because there's just something magical about watching a meteor shower. But yeah, okay. I have rambled on long enough about the stars and my love for them. Thanks so much for watching this episode 2. Thanks for, if you watched my first one, you're a rock star and I really appreciate it. Leave me a comment, tell me how I did. Hopefully the audio is going to be better in this one. And yeah, have a great week. I think that's it.